Okay, this is what I'm going to call Dave's Derby deal. My attempt to handicap the 140th Kentucky Derby, um, and thinking about picking a trifecta, if you will, instead of really focusing on the Derby winner. So, what I tend to do is I will pick horses that have essentially three different running styles. So if you're not familiar with those, the front runners, sometimes people call the speed horses, are the ones that get out on the front and will try to run essentially from wire to wire to win the race. As you might know from the history of the Derby, the front runners typically don't win the Derby. But if you have a horse that's out on the front, and then fades or it gets beat at the end, it can still be in there for the 1, 2, or 3 spot for the trifecta. So my front runner that I really like for this Derby is the Louisiana Derby winner, won by about 5.5 lengths. Vickers in Trouble. When I first heard it, I thought they were saying Victor's in Trouble, but it's Vicar, Vicar, Vickers in Trouble. The trainer is Mike Maker. Um, the jockey is Rosie, which is the only female jockey to be running in the Derby this year. So then the other thing that I look for is a stalker. It's kind of interesting thing about stalking. So the stalking style is a horse that'll kind of run off of the lead, third or fourth, but will be stalking the lead, be close to the lead, and then kind of then finish and win the race off the lead. And so the idea is that you have a stalker that essentially could win the race as part of your trifecta. So you look for a good stalker. The stalker that has done the best in the prep race this year is this California Chrome, which is uh, the morning line favorite, if you will. It was picked by Mike Battaglia, is the current uh, betting favorite. California Chrome won the Santa Anita Derby by about 5 or 6 lengths. The horses that ran in there, the horse that came second was Opportunity, which is a Bob Baffert trained horse, was scratched a few minutes ago. So the third place horse was Candy Boy, which won a Grade 2 race at the Santa Anita. Um, Looked really good. That horse, Candy Boy, but then didn't look good at all. Ran third, but didn't run a good race in the Santa Anita Derby. Um, that horse, Candy Boy, the jockey for that is Gary Stevens, which is I can't even remember how many derbies he's won. He's won at least three. Silver Charm, Thunder Gulch. Um, Gary Stevens is 51 years old. Um, Again, he's a jockey for Candy Boy, which I actually don't think is a very good horse. So then the other thing is to find a closer. So a closer is a horse that will really stay back, sometimes even last coming into the stretch, and then will make this strong run from way off the front to close, if you will, to win the race. So closers have won a lot of derbies. Last year's closer was Orb, who won the derby. So this year, looking for kind of a horse that has a closing style to be part of a trifecta or to win is a horse that is called Wicked Strong. Um, Wicked Strong is trained by James Jurgen, and its jockey, which I've never heard of, likely a New York-based trainer because the Wicked Strong was the winner of the Woods Memorial, ran a really nice race. Uh, its jockey, Rajiv Mara, I think is how you might pronounce it. I have never heard of, although when I looked, this jockey's last year was ranked 18th or 14th in the overall winnings for jockeys, which is really good. He's been a New York-based jockey. Actually, ran third on Mucho Macho Man in 2011 Derby, and won a Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile last year. Although many of us not heard of this jockey, uh, he's a good proven jockey and has been in the Derby and ran third. So Wicked Strong as a closer, I think, would be part of our trifecta or my trifecta for this Derby. Another horse to consider has been talked about a lot. So Todd Pletcher is kind of the current Dwayne Lucas, if you will, where he has have 7 horses in the Derby, and none of them win. No, really, to give him a better chance of winning. So he has a horse. He has several horses in here. So he has a horse, Danza, which won the Arkansas Derby, and looked really nice. Kind of a stalking style, except for it really stayed out there, really close to the front, if not to the front, and then it just drew off. It beat several horses. It was a Chitu. Ride on Curlin, Tapiture. I think that might include all of them. Those horses are also in the Derby. It beat all those horses in the Arkansas Derby. So Danza is now kind of a horse we're looking at. It's Todd Pletcher. Joe Bravo is the jockey, who's a long-term, well-known jockey. He's won a lot of races, won a lot of money. So there's another one that's kind of a local connection that's been talked about, and I want to talk about. Dale Romans is a local, Churchill Down-based trainer, kind of a claiming-based trainer. The last couple of years he's had Derby horses, and so this year he has a horse called Metal Count. The jockey that he has is his kind of favorite jockey. It's a jockey that wins a lot on long shots, Robbie Alvarado. I think I pointed to Megan's last year. He missed the Derby because he was in jail for beating his wife. So we'll see whether Robbie Alvarado shows up this year, whether he's been reformed or not. I've talked about a lot of different horses. But what I think it comes down to is for me is thinking about what are the front runners' speed. Also, so Opportunity was a horse I think I talked about. I'll talk about him again. So Opportunity ran second to California Chrome in the Santa Anita Derby. It's the second betting favorite, early morning line favorite. Was scratched about an hour ago. And so that brought in another horse. I don't know the name of the horse. I think it's Diablo something. What I've heard is that horse is more of a speed type of horse or front runner. The disadvantage for the closer that I talked about earlier, Wicked Strong, who we really like, I really like, as a closer and a favorite for winning this Derby, was in the 20th spot. And so the thing was always no horse ever won out of the 20 slot until Big Brown did it a few years ago. And so the question was about Wicked Strong, whether he could get out of the gate cleanly, get out of the 20. I thought since he's a closer, it's okay. Now it'll be in the 19th spot, so the new horse coming in because of the scratch is in the 20th spot. And so I've heard that he's a speed horse, and so this horse will try to get out on the lead. And so I don't know whether that'll affect Wicked Strong and its ability to lay back, and whether he gets pushed by this horse to try to get out there on the lead. However, the thing to now think about is that this new horse that came in, maybe it's a horse that could be included in a trifecta or a superfecta. You'll probably get like 101 odds, 100 to 1 odds on this horse, and so maybe because if you look at the past, so the payday for the Derby is sometimes the win, but it's always the trifectas are always really good uh, paydays. And so to kind of conclude, summarize what I discussed is that so I'm thinking about the trifecta. So I tend to think about let's pick some front runners, some speed horses. Let's pick a speed horse. Let's get a stalker that may be in there and a closer. And so where I am right now is really kind of four horses, if you will. Vickers in Trouble, um, which is the one horse coming out of the one horse. Um, California Chrome, I think will be in the money somewhere if he doesn't win the race. A 5 horse, Danza, is a horse to really consider from Todd Pletcher and Joe Bravo. And the Wicked Strong that I talked about as a closer. And so those really 4 horses. You can do a $1 box for a trifecta using 4 horses. It costs $24, and so you'll get half of the winnings. In the past, whether it be $3,000, it'd be $1,500. So those are really my thoughts at this point on Derby 140. Have fun, be safe. Hope you all win lots of money.